As we all know, the Paris Olympics 2024 has just started, and this year there are 175 LGBTQ athletes competing in the Olympics. Although this number is a bit too much, but the opening ceremony went even further. Well, you must be thinking, how? But if you are an Olympic fan, you must have seen it yourself. Before we dive into more explanation, please hit the subscribe button, as it helps us create new content. So in the opening ceremony, they featured a threesome that ended with slamming the door in our faces before going on to have all the sex. The reason behind this was to celebrate the gender inclusion and gay movement. And as stupid as it sounds, the main target of this opening was the younger children. After all, the LGBTQ community wants to grow more and more, so they find it really helpful to corrupt the minds of young people. No one had any idea that the opening ceremony would start with a threesome. And when it did, the younger audience found itself watching something that should not be in their minds this early, if ever. And this made parents very angry, who had to sit with their children and tell them what it was that they saw on the screen. Currently, social media is flooding with posts and tweets of angry adults who wanted none of this disgusting entertainment for their children. But this is not everything. This is just the top layer. When you go deeper, there is so much more that has already happened in the Paris Olympics 2024. After opening with a threesome, there was another shock for the followers of Christ and art enthusiasts. As if attacking the minds of young children was not enough, the Paris Olympics featured drag queens who committed a sin against Christianity. How? Well, one of the most revered paintings in the Christian religion is The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. In this painting, you can see Christ having his Last Supper with his followers, including Mary Magdalene. It is one of the most historical and religious paintings in the world. The fact that it was made by Leonardo da Vinci adds to the value of painting itself. After all, Leonardo was a genius Catholic painter. He is known for painting so many religious paintings and creating so many ingenious inventions. But are you aware what happened to his painting in the Olympics opening? It came as a shock to every Christian when the drag queens made fun of the Last Supper. They recreated the painting, posing as Christ, his followers, and Mary Magdalene. The point of this recreation was to poke fun at the Christianity. It is like saying that the Christian religion is nothing more than a bunch of males and transgenders posing together as a cult. This is infuriating, and it disrespects the art enthusiast by poking fun at them. It is like telling them that art has no value, that any male or transgender with a wig can recreate history. As stupid as this stunt was, this got appreciation from the LGBTQ community. The drags and the gays love this recreation of the Last Supper. And why should they not? It aligns with all their values, living in sin and making fun of religion and art. This is something that goes beyond the Olympics. For centuries, the Olympics have been sacred games. The best and the most fit athletes from around the globe would make their place in the Olympics to win names for their countries. Now, a bunch of gay babies with their wigs and straps can make it to the Olympics and pose as the athletes that they are not. This year, the Olympics have lost its value and meaning thanks to the LGBTQ community. I mean, if you want the world to accept you as a community, why start with making fun of religion and art? Why make fun of sports that are sacred to so many people? And this is not everything. There is so much more. According to many people, the drag queens and the threesome were a cover for something sinister. And this sinister act happened in front of everyone. In the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics, there was a white horse with a white rider who made it to the stage. And this was suspicious. So many people were confused on who this rider is and what the significance is behind this act. But Christians got the reference within seconds. This rider and the white horse are a reference from the Bible. In the book of Revelation in the New Testament, the white horse and its rider are described in the first seal that John sees in his vision. And the rider is sometimes interpreted as the death, sometimes as the Antichrist. There is more. When the rider was riding towards the stage, there came a moment where it looked like he had wings. This is another direct reference from the Bible where the Antichrist opens his wings and destroys the world. But the scariest thing happened after this rider reached the stage. On the stage, there was the head of a red heifer hanging. So many Christians are saying on social media that it was a giving ceremony under the head of the red heifer. Besides, the importance of red heifer is already known in the Christian religion. When you really think about it, there was no need for a heifer's head on the stage. After all, it goes against the aesthetic and is a poor taste decoration. So it makes sense that the agenda behind it all is to speed up the birth and emergence of the Antichrist. The doom of this world is on its way. Whether Antichrist or drag queens, there is no saving us. But how do you think the audience is reacting to all this disrespect? And what would be the future of the Olympics from now on? If you want to see a complete video on red heifer, please click the button at the top right corner of the video. I've explained how the red heifer is important for the Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Coming back to our topic, the opening ceremony and the drag performance were intended to be a celebration of diversity and inclusion. But to people, it felt inappropriate and total disrespect. So they took offense, and the social media platforms are still heated. There should be no politics and social issues in the Olympics. Let me repeat this. There should be no politics and social issues in the Olympics. So why are the gays taking something lighthearted and using it for their own benefit? The gays are saying that the ceremony was a much-needed statement of support for the LGBTQ+ community, while others believe that it was an inappropriate use of a global platform. The truth of the matter is that there really was overtly sexual content in the opening ceremony. Now, so many people are calling for a boycott of the games. After all, the use of sexual imagery and the inclusion of drag queens in the games is concerning for the younger audience. On social media platforms, parents are actively expressing their anger and frustration, stating that the ceremony was not suitable for children. Besides, the decision to make the games the gayest games yet has been seen by some as a political statement, as it should be. But how is the LGBTQ+ community reacting to this? The Olympics 2024 is getting backlash from the people of LGBTQ+ community as well. The true aim of LGBTQ+ community is to make its place in the world without making fun of religions or art. So people who supported this movement are now either against it or trying to do better. The Paris Olympics management has failed the LGBTQ+ community by turning people against it. According to some of the gays from this community, the main aim is to drive inclusion and celebrate the lives of everyone, celebrate their choices. But now the world sees our community as something that openly sins against religion and makes fun of art. So in a way, the opening ceremony of the Olympics this year really was memorable, but it was not memorable in a way that delighted the people. The sexual opening, recreation of religious painting, and the inclusion of drag queens is getting hated by everyone. Besides, this is not what the Olympics are all about. The true meaning behind the Olympics is the celebration of athletic achievement, not a platform for political or social statements. It certainly is not meant to be a drag show. So although it is okay to support the LGBTQ+ community, there is a line that should not be crossed, and the Olympics Paris has openly crossed this line. The opening ceremony of Olympics was an inappropriate venue for making a gay statement. There are so many ways to celebrate diversity and inclusion. There could be a roundup of the gay athletes and a celebration of their achievements. With the opening ceremony that we just had, imagine how the finale of this Olympics will be. We might even have drags and gays reenacting full scenes from the Bible. If there is one thing that is confirmed, it is the fact that there should be a response towards this unethical opening that goes against Christianity and RRT appropriation. If the Paris Olympics is allowed to get away with this, who knows what might happen to the future of sports? Besides, how do you think the rest of the world is taking this opening? In America and some other countries, being gay out and in the open is a normal happening. But Muslim countries have strong laws against homosexual relations. In Islam, there is no space for people who practice homosexuality. So it came as a blow to them when they found their children watching porn in the opening ceremony of the Olympics. If you think about inclusion, the decision and laws of the Muslim countries must be respected by the host of the Olympics. To go against their laws is to give them a slap. It's like saying that their laws and policies have no respect or value. So as a result, many of the countries are withdrawing from the Olympics and calling their athletes back to their homes. What was once the celebration of fitness and athletic spirits is nothing but a gay and drag pageant now. Athletic ceremonies should be left at that. Athletic nature. There has to be no involvement of the gays or drags in it. Besides, the love for sports is what unites the world. Now that Paris has made its statement, countries are largely offended. There was no need to take something that was loved by all and turn it into a personal gay agenda. If this practice continues, there will be no global events in the future. Besides, practices like this will be the death of sports. Already, there are so many males participating in the female sports because they identify as females. When it comes to sports, the biological genders need to be acknowledged and respected. Females should go against females no matter what gender they identify as, and there should be no disrespect towards any religion or art. These acts look minor, but their impact on the audience is at large. Can you imagine what might go through the heads of children who saw the opening ceremony of the Olympics 2024? Also, on a lighter note, the main highlight of the Olympics was Snoop Dogg lighting the torch. The humorous side of this was the fact that the torch looked like a joint, and Snoop Dogg has a long history of lighting joints. People on the internet are even betting that he lit a joint from the fire of this torch as well. Snoop Dogg being Snoop Dogg, this is something very likely to have happened. What do you think about the opening ceremony of the Olympics? Comment your thoughts below. Also, don't forget to share it along with your sport enthusiast friends.